Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To my name is ZAILANI. So today, my group members and I are going to present about our chosen textual analysis of a translated document, which is Gurindam 12. Next. Okay, so the content that we're going to present today are introduction, textual analysis, review, and the conclusion. Next. Okay, so Gurindam 12 is written by Raja Adi Haji. Raja Adi Haji was born in Selangor in 1808 or 1809, but most sources stated that he was born in Penyengat. Okay, and since he was infant, he moved to Penyengat and received his education there. Raja Adi Haji died in 1872 at Penyengat Island in Riau, but about his death is still debated until right now because there are no clear evidence about where he died. Next. Okay, his writings are Syair ABDUL, but unfortunately Syair ABDUL was disputed by the readers. Gurindam 12, Tufat Anafi Silsilah Melayu dan Bugis, Bustan Al-Katibi, Intizam wa Zaif Al-Malik, and Tamarat Al-Mahamah. Next. Okay, so about Gurindam 12, the main idea of Gurindam 12 is about the need for religion in every human life. Okay, so most clauses in Gurindam 12 stated about the religion of Islam and the need of knowing Allah, the need, the afterlife, the prayers, and so forth. So, Raja Adi Haji, he actually intended to invite his reader to know God, who is the creator of this universe. Gurindam 12 stated that every human being must have religion because religion is very important in our life. And he stated that the non-religious person is considered as a person who has no direction in life. And then in this, Gurindam 12 also stated about the advices for not being too prejudiced against other people. For example, in the 8th clause, the author says that a person who is dishonest and persecuting himself is untrustworthy and such person should be avoided. And lastly, the author also highlights the importance of education in life because he mentioned that education can change someone's life to a better one. And with education, we can distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. So I shall pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum. So I am AMINAH Athikah binti Latif. So I'm going to present to you about the translation technique used in this Gurindam 12. So next. So as we know, translation technique consists of two types of which are direct translation and oblique translation. In this aphorism, in this term aphorism, the translator use both type of way. Next, for the first type of direct translation used by the translator for the aphorism, it is borrowing. Okay, as you can see here, borrowing is taking of words or expressions straight from one language into another language without translation. As you can see here, the example given for line taken from aphorism 2, line 7. Barang siapa meninggalkan zakat into the targeted language which is English, whosoever neglect zakat. So the word zakat is borrowed from the source language into the targeted language. Okay, the word zakat here means zakat is derived from Arabic word into Malay words which means payment made under Islamic law on certain kind of property annually for the use of charity and religious purposes. So as we know, the word zakat is not used by the English speaker, and it is unknown for them to the targeted language. and it also does not have any translated word to any other language. That is why the translating use the borrowing as the technique. Okay, the second example is for the borrowing is the line from aphorism 6, line 3, which is Syahari olehmu akan guru, and to the targeted language, which is English, seek you a guru. The word guru is also borrowed by the translator to the from the source language into the targeted language. As we know, the word guru can also be translated to the English word teacher, but the translator want to keep the context of the aphorism, which is the guru here means an expert who gives advices in a particular subject. And so the translator keep the source language word to the targeted language. Okay, for the second type of translation technique used by the translator in this aphorism is the literal translation. As you can see here, the two examples. The first one is seperti rumah tidak bertiang, it's like home without a pillar, and also apabila perut dalam penuh, when the belly is too full. As you can see, literal translation is word by word translation, and as you can see here, the form and structure of the sentences for both the language is the same, and but with an addition. The translator slightly use addition at the article a and also the in order to complete the sentence. So let's take a look to the second type of translation technique, which is oblique translation.
Assalamualaikum, my name is SHAHIRAH FARIHIN binti KAMAR. So next I will explain on oblique translation. So oblique translation is used when a text cannot be translated in direct translation, and it is also used when the structural and the conceptual element of the source language cannot be transposed into the targeted language. There are few types of oblique translation, which are modulation, adaptation, transposition, and equivalence. But for this Gurindam 12, we only focus on two types of oblique translation, which are modulation and equivalence. Okay, so let's take a look at the modulation. So for modulation, we can find this technique in Gurindam 12 of the third issue, and the meaning of modulation is variation of messages produced by the translator without changing the meaning of the source language. So basically it means that the translator translate the text using different idea, but not changing the meaning at all. Okay, so let's take a look at the example. This is from the line 1, 3, and 5 in the third issue of the Gurindam 12. Apabila terpelihara mata, the translator translate it to when we guard the eyes, but it's supposed to be when the eyes are protected. But the translator literally changed the idea because they want to make it more understandable to the audience. So he add the pronoun we, and we believe that they add the pronouns we because they want the reader to feel more closer with the messages that the translator wanted to convey, and also to make the readers feel more responsible if the action mentioned in this text is done by the reader. Okay, so basically modulation is when the translator use different idea for the source language if they wanted to translate it in the targeted language, but make sure it doesn't change the meaning at all. Okay, so next we move on to the equivalence. This technique can be found in Gurindam 12 of the first issue in line 5 and the last line. So equivalence means when the same situation in the source text can be rendered by the translator using two texts that have completely different stylistic and structural methods. So basically the translator is using synonym when they wanted to translate in the targeted language. So we look at the first example, tahulah ia dunia mudarat. The translator translate to knows this world is profitless strife. The word mudarat is supposed to be harmful, but the translator translate it to profitless strife. Why he did so? Because the word profitless one. So instead of translated the word Allah to Allah, they translated to the word the one, because maybe the readers of the targeted language, they are not familiar with the word Allah. They doesn't know what Allah means. So they change it to the word the one, because Allah in Malay it means Yang Maha Esa, which Esa means one, means satu. So that is why they are using the one. So that is all for oblique translation. And next we move on to the next topic, which is the review of the text analysis, that is going to be presented by AMIR FARIS and also AHMAD ZAEEM.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad AMIR FARIS, and me and my friend AHMAD ZAEEM will explain about the review on the translation work done by the translator on the literary work Gurindam 12. Next. Okay, first I will explain what we will be covered in this review. There are 4 aspects of what we review in the first 6 aphorisms in the Gurindam 12. The first aspect is whether or not the intended meaning by the original author have been transferred successfully in the translated work. The next aspect is the emotion, whether or not the same emotion in the original literary work can be felt again in the translated work. The third aspect is either the words in the source text can be translated into the target language. And lastly, the overall translation of the translated work on the Gurindam 12, whether or not it has achieved what the original author intended to translate. Okay, next. Okay, in the first aphorism, it can be seen that the translator is able to carry the weight of the words from the original work to the translated work. Okay, in the first aphorism, for example, suruhnya dan tegahnya tiada, ia menyalah, which when is translated becomes command, forbid, he will not turn. Okay, here we can see that the translator emphasizes on the severity of the words from the source language to the target language. In the example, you can see that suruh and tegah, the word tegah is translated into forbid, which is a very harsh way to say the word tegah. The translator could use the word like advise or discourage, but the translator know that tegah means more severe and have a heavier weight into the word. So the translator translate into the target language and use the word forbid, which is able to carry what the original author trying to convey in the aphorism. Okay, another thing that we can review in the first aphorism is that there are specific words or terms that cannot be directly translated into the English language. In the first aphorism, the line barang siapa mengenal yang empat, maka itulah orang yang makrifat, is translated into whosoever understand this for truly stands among the knowers. Okay, in this line, there are not a single specific term that can, in the English language, that can properly rephrase the word makrifat. So the translator generalize the meaning of the word and translate into the more general term, which is the knowers. Okay, still in the first aphorism, the line barang siapa mengenal yang empat, maka itulah orang yang makrifat, is translated into whosoever understand this for truly stands among the knowers. Okay, in this line, there are no specific terms or phrase in the English language that can replace the word makrifat. It doesn't exist. So here, the translator generalize the meaning of the word makrifat into the general term, which is the knowers. Even doing so, the meaning of the word can still be well understandable by the readers. And now we move on to the second aphorism. In the line, barang siapa meninggalkan puasa, tidaklah mendapat dua termasa, has been translated into the targeted language into whosoever neglects the fast has lost in both this life and last. The same problem arises again, where there is no specific word or term that can replace the original word termasa. This is because the word termasa have a religious belief that we as a human have two phases in life. The life we live on earth when we are alive, and then a life after we die. Okay, then the translator uses the phrase this life and last to successfully transfer the same meaning in the targeted language. Okay, next. Still in the second aphorism, the line barang siapa meninggalkan zakat, tiadalah hartanya beroleh berkat, is translated into the English language, which reads whosoever neglects zakat earns from the wealth no barakat. The same problem occurs again but it is handled differently. The first problem, which is the word zakat in the original language cannot be translated or doesn't have any particular word that has the same meaning in the targeted language. So here, the translator uses the method borrowing, where he directly take the word zakat and put it into the translated word. But still, the meaning of the word can still be understood by the readers. Okay, next. Okay, moving on to the third aphorism, we will look at the third aphorism in overall as a general. So here in the third aphorism, the translator emphasizes on conveying the original author intended literary style of the original text, which is the rhyme throughout the aphorism. As you can see, every line, each line by line, have the same ending vowel. So the translator noticed this literary style and put it into the final translated work. This can be explained as a nod to, or respect to the authenticity of the original work as a literary art. Even though the translator still kept the literary art, it doesn't diminish the translation process, and the meaning can still be transferred and can still have the literary art that the original author intended. Okay, now we move on to the fourth, fifth, and sixth aphorism review by my friend AHMAD.
Alright, Assalamualaikum. And now moving on with me, ZAEEM. We're going on to the review of the fourth aphorism. Alright. So in this aphorism, one of the most highlighted thing that I'd like to review is the usage of the word multitude. So it comes from the line, apabila dengki sudah bernanah, datanglah daripadanya beberapa anak panah. And it's translated into, whenever jealousy has been sown, shoot forth a multitude of arrows. So I really like the idea of the translator to change the idea from the word beberapa, which should be translated into beberapa can be translated into a few, which is way different to multitude. So multitude means more than a few. So it's a lot, alright? So here we can see that beberapa anak panah means only a few arrows have been shot, right? But with the usage of multitude, we can see that there's a lot of arrow being shot. So here, the arrow is being related to the word jealousy, right? Or dengki in Malay. So jealousy is a form of emotion that can carry a lot of weight into the word, right? So when the translator uses the word multitude, it gives more emotion to the line, right? And here we can see when the word multitude carries more emotion, put more emotion to the lines, we can say that the translator is doing a better job than the original author of this aphorism. Alright. Next, we're moving on to the fifth aphorism. So, the thing that I want to highlight here is the word berbangsa, and it's being translated into high birth. So the line sounds like this. In Malay, jika hendak mengenal orang berbangsa, lihat kepada budi dan bahasa. And in English, it is translated into, if you wish to know the people of high birth, in manners and speech are shown their worth. Alright. Here, what I would like to point out is that the translator is confused with the term berbangsa. Alright. So the word berbangsa here in the Malay text, it means something noble. No, I'm sorry, not noble, but something that has relation to moral and value, right? But here, the translator translated the word berbangsa into high birth, which means the meaning it brings the meaning of noble, nobility, or someone who were born with a higher rank than the common people, right? So this we can say that the translator misinterpret the meaning of the word pembangsa. So the correct word should be something, a word that can represent moral or virtue. All right. Next is the sixth aphorism, which is the last part that we have done in our assignment. All right. Here we can see the highlighted word is the word guru. Right. So both version, the source text and the translated text, use retain the word guru. So in Malay it sounds cari alimmu akan guru yang boleh tahukan setiap sedunia. And in English it sounds like seek you a guru who can teach you every enemy to you. Alright, now moving on to the last part of the aphorism that we have used in our assignment, which is the sixth aphorism. So in this part, the thing that I want to highlight is the usage of the word guru. Both versions of the translated and the original text use the word guru. Why? I don't know. Okay. In general, the word guru can carry the meaning of a teacher, someone who teach in any kind of field, right? But if we track back the origin of the word guru, it actually means someone who teach in spiritual kind of thing, like religion, something like that, right? So the reason why both source text and the translated text use the word guru is because the nature of this aphorism, which it focuses on the advice, giving advice about that is related to the religion of Islam, which is why the translator and the author decided to have that the vibe of religion into the lines, right? And for the conclusion of this part, we can say that the religion of Islam really carried a heavy influence to the usage of the word guru, which becomes the reason why they retain the usage of the word guru. Alright, next. Alright, for the conclusion, we can say that the translator who translated the aphorism has kept the fluidity of the translation, that keep the authenticity of the original works. Even though with a lot of compromise and flaws, he somehow still managed to keep the originality of the work with the usage of translation procedures, direct translation and public translation. And I think that's all from us.